All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Tuesday, December 8th, 2015. Thank you so much for being with us here for another edition of the broadcast. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, busy, busy, busy. I haven't even had time to do any shows, and I really don't have any time to do it. But I'm here doing it anyway just to be able to give you guys some updates and have at least some shows. But I've got to get back to working on this film, and that's what I've been doing. So that's where I've been trying to keep all of my focus as of late, is onto this film and all the work that it pertains to it. I'm getting close, but like I said, we're still about 2 weeks out. I'm shooting to have it done by like the week of Christmas, somewhere in there, 22nd, 23rd, something in there. Hopefully, that's what I'm shooting for right now. So hopefully we'll be able to make that happen. But it's just going to require me to keep all my focus buckled into this. When I have to split my energy between doing the shows, because it takes a lot, believe it or not, it just takes a lot to gut up and get up here and do a show. I'm not, contrary to what you probably think about me, I'm actually not a big talker. I've never been a big talker my whole life. Honestly, not, which is an odd thing for somebody that does a radio show, but I'm not a big talker. If you knew me in my regular life, I'm not somebody that just sits around and runs their mouth all the time. I know that's easy to think about somebody like myself who does a radio show, but I'm really not. So it takes a lot for me to take a lot of energy and a lot of focus and a lot of just psyching yourself up like an athlete would or something. You get ready for a big game. You gotta get in the zone. You gotta be in the headspace. And if everything's not firing on all cylinders, then it's not going to be good. And so I think that's what's been going on, and that is what's been going on. It's hard for me to get up here and do shows and stuff like that when I'm so focused on working on the film and all that stuff. And really, I want to make sure that all my energy goes into everything equally. So once I'm done with the film and we get into, I'll be in promotion mode then. I'll be doing interviews and going on different shows and stuff like that. But then we'll be back to doing regular shows and whatnot until I get back to working on whatever the next project is and all that stuff. So for right now, just be patient with the lack of shows and all this stuff. And again, please, support our work. And that's the only problem. When I take time off from doing shows, we get absolutely zero support. I mean, we just get none, because if I'm not doing anything show wise, I don't know why, but the general public, people just take that as thinking I'm not doing anything, and that our work is ceasing to be. And it's just frustrating, because here I am over here working my ass off, but I just don't have time to get up here and do shows every single day. And I should have done this months ago. If I would have just, taken time off and just worked on the film, then I would already have the film done. But again, at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, because every time we're off air, we get absolutely zero support. And last month, we barely made it through again. And actually, we didn't even reach all of our fundraising goal. I had to, sell off stuff just to be able to cover the operating costs for the month. We did have a couple of people come in. We had a two-way tie for our first place prize between Darren and Nathaniel. So Darren and Nathaniel, you guys, I don't know how you guys want to settle it. I mean, you both are in. I don't really have. I had one first place prize. I really don't have two prizes to give. We need to come up with some kind of a tiebreaker or some shit. I don't know. Only tiebreaker I can think of is that since you both contributed the same amount, you're both in first place. You both could just make, a contribution, and whoever it'd just be random, and neither one of you are going to know what the other one contributes. And whoever ends up making the contribution between you two will end up being the winner. Might be $20, might be $30, might be $50. I don't who knows. So I think you should just both make a small contribution or something, and then whoever is the most over for the grand prize will win the first grand prize, and then I'll give the second place person between you two a smaller prize. That way you'll both still get something, and you're both fucking winners in my book. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to wouldn't be here right now. Wouldn't have made it this far. So there's no losers here when it comes to you guys who actually do support our work and actually do help us out. And I'm just grateful to both of you guys and everybody out there, even if you only contribute a small amount. I'm just grateful to everybody, and you're going to see how grateful I am once you see this film. I mean, I'm the worst hype man in the world. I don't get into hype, and I'm not one of those people that makes grandiose claims about things. Really, seriously, this film is going to be incredible. And already, I mean, all my friends and stuff, people who've already, who know a lot of what's going to be, everybody's like, man, you've got to find some way. You got to get this thing on Netflix. People all the time are like, dude, why aren't your films on Netflix? I see way worse documentaries than yours. Way, way worse. All the time on Netflix. Why aren't yours on Netflix? Well, bottom line is that just I'm an independent guy. And yes, there are a lot of independent films and stuff and a lot of independent documentaries on Netflix, but it takes a lot of money. A lot of these companies, they'll charge you, you got to pay them like $2,500. And there's no guarantee they even get the film up there. And you have to have it closed captioned beforehand, which I don't do with my films because it takes a lot of money to do that. So there's a lot of factors. Really what I need more than anything else, I don't know if there's anybody out there in our listening audience that has a way to help with this or has connections or something. But I think what I need to find is, from the research I've done, is I need to find somebody that can put these films out. You know what I mean? Like a distribution company or somebody like that, because I mean, people are right. There are way worse documentary films, way worse quality than mine, and not nearly as good, that are just full of crap and disinfo and everything else all over Netflix. But it's just, honestly, it's just not something that I'm able to do independently. There's only so much you can do, and but I mean, all the hype and all of the press surrounding that Alex Gibney going clear Scientology documentary, like that thing is, the all end all be all truth of Scientology, and it didn't even scratch the surface, not a little bit. I mean, if people really want to see the real deal shit on Scientology, this film is gonna have it. And like I said, inadvertently with this film that really started out as just an expose on Hollywood and mind control and stuff, has now turned it back and gone back and connected inadvertently, just as a result of the research. It's gone back now and connected itself back to my secret right research, which I didn't expect it to do. So all that stuff is going to be in here, and just so much amazing stuff. I'm so totally psyched about this film, but I mean, we're running on fumes over here. We made it, barely made it through the month. We barely made it this far, and we're sitting over here with like $10 because, and plus we got more. I've got another $40 that's going to come out of my account tomorrow for our monthly archive thing that we do. I have to pay that bill, and then I've got another bill, I think, for the stream coming up in the middle of the month. So we're running on fumes over here. And I need at least another 2 weeks of solid, doing nothing but dedicating myself to this film, because once the film's done, then I've still got to do title, the graphics, like the credits and all that stuff, and music. I got to do music, and we had fundraisers that we didn't get any help support on. We need about $1,000 right now is really what we need to finish this film off proper. Because, like I said, even when it's done, it's going to be probably another 4 to 6 weeks before DVDs and Blu-rays and all that are going to be available. Because I'm going to have to wait until we get some money in from downloads of the film before I can even do that. But if you pre-ordered a copy of the film already, you'll get that before the other DVDs and Blu-rays are available. Because how that works is what we do is the first initial pre-sales that go on are limited edition discs. So all of you that pre-ordered a DVD or a Blu-ray will get those right after the film is done. So as soon as the film's done, I'll burn them off and I'll start making the limited edition copies, and we'll get those sent out. But then it'll be probably at least another 4 to 6 weeks after that until we are able, maybe longer, I don't know, till we're able to get the actual proper Blu-rays and DVDs done with cover art and all that stuff. But for now, that's how we're going to do it. I also want to let you know that we're going to keep the pre-sales for the Spellcasters going on until this Friday. So you have until this Friday to pre-order your copy. If you haven't pre-ordered your copy on download, Blu-ray, or DVD, please visit my website, theglobalreality.com, and right there in the middle of the page, you'll see the link that says pre-order the Spellcasters. Pre-order that by this Friday to guarantee that you'll be one of the first people to get a copy of this film on DVD and Blu-ray when it comes out. You can also pre-order it on download, which means you'll get one as soon as they're available. But we're only going to have those up and available and on sale for pre-sale until this Friday. We're going to cut it off. And then once the film is out and we have the other ones sent off to be manufactured, the proper ones, then we'll have those back up for sale. But we'll have downloads available all through that time. So you'll be able to get downloads. And we'll put them up I'll put them up in a few different qualities and sizes. That way people have lower bandwidth and stuff can get them in smaller sizes. So if you want to get a copy of this film, you want to be one of the first people to see it, then you definitely need to pre-order yourself a copy by no later than this Friday. And we're also going to extend our deal from last month. If you contribute $100, minimum of $100 or more to our monthly operating costs fundraiser, you will get a download of the film before it goes on sale. And we only had 3 or 4 people qualify for that so far. So if you want to be one of the people to see this thing before anybody else does, then if you can contribute $100 between now and the time the film is probably going to come out, probably sometime the week of Christmas, 22nd, 23rd, then you'll qualify to get a pre-release download of the Spellcasters, and you'll be able to see it before anybody else. So there you go. Man, oh man, oh man. It's just hard for me to... I'm sitting here looking at this news. I'm sitting here looking at all this stuff. And my headspace is just not into this stuff. I'm just not... My headspace is on this film. Is on the subjects of this film. And that really is all I want my energy to be towards right now. So I can't explain it or put it into words how utterly difficult it is for me to even get up here and do a radio show right now. I mean, I'm not in it because I'm into this other work that I'm trying to get finished. Once I'm done with that, I'll be back into fucking doing radio, and we'll have a great old time, and we'll be reading books, and it'll be business as usual. But right now, my energy is just so focused on getting this film done, because to me, it's just so important, and I wanted it to be done before now. But I found that if I don't put deadlines on things and I don't say, okay, you know, we need to have this done by this date, this, that, and then it'll just go on and on. My energy gets stretched out, and then it'll take forever to get done. So that's why I'm putting a deadline on this thing and on myself to get it done and get it over with. And then, like I said, we'll be back to the regular shows. And I know all of you, there's so many people, I get emails from all you guys out there. Y'all are my little crack fiends, is what I call y'all. I love it and love all my little crack fiends out there. That's the name you guys have applied to yourself, not me. Don't get mad at me. People send me messages. Oh my God, I need my crack. Your show is my crack. I need it. and I appreciate that. I love that. I love the fact I have your crack. But man, you're gonna have to, like, I don't know, get some placebo or go through some rehab for a few weeks or something, so I can get this film done, and then we'll be back to business as usual here. But I think I'll do my best. I'm going to try my damnedest to get through some of this news and cover as many stories and talk about as much stuff as I can that doesn't pertain to my film as I can for you today. Again, it's just tough because that's where that's where all my energy and it just, I feel like I'm pulling my energy away from that film just being here right now doing the show, and it's tough, man. So again, just bear with me until we get this film done, and you guys are going to enjoy it. And again, we've got to have some support in here, though. We've just been getting none, and when I'm not up here doing regular shows, we get none. So we need every available contribution we can get right now, while I'm working to get this thing done. At least once it's done, then that'll be a new source of revenue in, and we'll be getting some downloads, some sales going. But I really just need about a cash infusion of about $1,000 to dump into this film to cover soundtrack costs and the cost of getting the disc manufactured and all that. Hey, you still got time. You can still contribute, and I'll put your name in the film. I mean, if somebody donates $1,000, I'll put your name under the credits in the film, or any name you want under the executive producer credit. I mean, if you ever want to see your name in the credits, or, you can choose a fake name. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. You want to go under fucking Dick Delicious and his Tasty Testicles or whatever. I don't care. Fucking choose a name. I'll put it in there. But anyway, I did want to let you know that you still have time to do that, because we won't be doing the credits until the end. If you do 500, I'll put you under the co-producers credits, but $1,000 I'll put you under executive producer, and that would be just it'd be a miracle, a huge miracle help if we could get somebody out there that could do that for us right now. There's got to be one of y'all out there I know that could help us out, and then we'd be able to fucking just seal the deal on this film, and it'll be right. It'll have the right soundtrack, the right packaging. I want it, because that's really important too, is getting the packaging right. I've got a guy, Chris, you know who you are, in Australia, who did the Lost Secrets artwork. I want to get him to do something, if possible, for spellcasters. But again, we just got to have some support, and we got to have some cash in here ASAP. I wanted to tell you that we're having a 25% off sale in our Etsy shop, Let There Be Rocks. That lasts until December 25th of this month. 25% off, no minimum purchase. And we've got some fantastic, rare, super rare gems. We've got crystals, minerals. We've got stuff nobody else has. That's just a fact. I mean, I've got one-of-a-kind pieces. I've got Libyan desert glass. I've got a museum-sized Libyan desert glass piece. The biggest piece you'll probably ever see outside of a museum. We've got a Colorado Amazonite smoky quartz combo, which are hot in the gem and mineral world right now. That's probably the largest one you'll ever see. Huge, rare blue tourmaline. I mean, we've got just all kinds of stuff. So if you like specimens, we got that. We got a huge Herkimer diamond. We've got some of the biggest and rarest stones around. We've also got all kinds of great rings and pendants and everything else out there, from Larimar to Tanzanite to ametrine to dialite, fire opals, canvasites. Just everything. Etsy.com/shop/Let There Be Rocks. You can also check out our Let There Be Rocks Facebook page, and there's links up there as well. And if you are having trouble finding the Etsy shop page and you want to make a purchase, but you're having trouble finding it, just email me, globalrealityshow@gmail.com, and I'll send you the link. The link, not length. I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link. That's a Jesus Christ, that sounded filthy, didn't it? I'm gonna send you the length, bitch. Here, take it. Take the length. No, the link. I'll send you the link, not the length. I don't have any length to give anyway. Anyway, 25% off till December 25th. No minimum. Xmas 2015. XMAS 2015. That's the coupon code. XMAS 2015. Xmas 2015. Put that code in at checkout at the Let There Be Rocks Etsy page, and you'll get 25% off. No minimum purchase required until December 25th. Go in there and get some stuff. Fuck spending your money at the mall, or, support me. Support an independent business with Let There Be Rocks like me. You're not going to find crystals and jewelry and stuff like this with what we have anywhere else. We've got some amazing stuff in there. And if you want to give the person that you love or somebody in your family a truly one-of-a-kind gift, because a lot of our stuff is one-of-a-kind. A lot of our jewelry pieces, they are one-of-a-kind. Once that piece sells, we will not get another piece in like that ever again in most cases. There's been a lot. There's been a lot that we've sold that I've been like, man, damn, I'm sad to see that one go because they're so awesome. But it's also awesome that so many of our listeners out there have gotten pieces from us, and I know that they've gone to good homes, and that's a really awesome thing. But we've just got so many amazing things up there. We've got Australian boulder opals, we've got rhodochrosite, moldavite, we've got all kinds of moldavite rings, tourmaline. I've got very rare tourmalines. We got a 10-carat African ruby that's a Buddha's carved out of it. It's insane. That shit came straight from Thailand too. You're not getting that at the mall, that's for sure. We've got so many amazing things there in our Etsy shop. And my point is, with the 25% off thing, hey, if everybody out there in our listening audience would just go and clean out that shop, dude, we'd be in business. So if you don't want to contribute monetarily to my work, go buy a bunch of shit out of our Etsy shop. You're going to get a huge discount. You're going to get some awesome things. And a lot of this stuff, a lot of these pieces, especially some of these mineral specimens and stuff that we have, these are investments. These are things that are going to be worth a whole heck of a lot in a short amount of time. There are pieces that I bought a year or so ago to sell that I've now had to up the price on because I didn't realize how much the value of these has gone up. For instance, there was, we got this big, massive blue tourmaline for sale in it's super rare. You won't ever find one that rare. It's from Afghanistan, very rare. Blue tourmaline is the rarest of all tourmalines anyway. But I got it last year, and I got such an amazing deal on it that I didn't really quite know how to price it. So I had it priced at like $200. For almost a year, I had it priced at $200. Nobody bought it. We did all kinds of shows and displays and had it. Nobody ever bought it. And a few months ago, I went to a gem and mineral show here in Dallas, and there was a guy I saw that had one similar to it on a display, like a lighted display at the last show I went to last year. So I knew he was going to be at this other show I was going to, so I was like, well, I'm going to take this piece over to him and, have him look at it. Because I didn't really know what it was, what it was worth or anything. But I know that he had one, and he was asking some ridiculous price, like $3,800 or something. And honestly, it wasn't even, it looked cool because it was on this like rotating lighted stand, So it looked sick, but it really wasn't better than the one I've got, to be honest with you. The one I've got's included with some other minerals like clevelandite and quartz and stuff. So in the mineral world, anytime you get more than one mineral in what they call a combo mineral, those are always ones that retain their value and are sought after by collectors. That's why the Amazonite and smoky quartz combos that come out of Lake George area of Colorado, which we have quite a few of, those are one of the hottest pieces in the mineral world right now. And the reason is because there's only about maybe a month or 2 month window where you can mine these things, and it's at extremely high altitudes in the Rockies and stuff. So, but anyway, I took this blue tourmaline to the guy, and I noticed that he didn't have the one that he had anymore, the lighted stand. So I asked him, I said, hey, what happened to that one? He's, oh, we sold it. And, oh, you sold it? Yeah, $3,800. I'm like, wow. I said, well, I've got one similar to it. I was wondering if you might take a look at it. And he said, yeah, I'll take a look at it. And I gave it to him, and he looked at it. And he was like, wow, this is an amazing piece. And I was hoping maybe he might want to buy it off of me, or that was kind of what I was hoping for, but he didn't make any offers like he wanted to buy it. So I asked him, and I said, well, how much you think that's worth? How much you think the value of that is? And he was like, that piece? He's like, I'm going to say anywhere probably from, $3,500 on the low side all the way up to $5,000 on the high side. He's like, probably closer to $5,000. He's like, that $3,500 is probably a conservative estimate. He's like I said, we sold that one for $3,800, and it didn't really have as much blue on it as yours. But mine's it's a 900 carat, 180 gram blue cap indicalite tourmaline with clevelandite and quartz from Paprock, Afghanistan. We've got it for sale for $2,000. And it's been appraised anywhere from $35,000 to $5,000. I had it for sale, not knowing any better, for like $200, and nobody bought it. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of the stuff we have is like that. Especially some of the Amazonite smoky quartz combo, the giant one we have is $1,500. Look around the internet. You won't find another one that big, especially any of the ones that are any kind of size, especially what you would consider a museum size, like that one is. $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 on up. So we've got a lot of amazing jewelry, but we've also got a lot of amazing mineral specimens and a lot of these things that could be investments for the future. Because this stuff ain't going down, especially stuff like tourmaline and moldavite and a lot of these minerals where they're already rare, but they're becoming rare with each passing year, because the supplies dwindle and sometimes the mines close. Sometimes that happens where, there'll be a mine open and then the mine will close for whatever reason, and then that causes the supplies to dwindle. So there are a finite amount of any one of these minerals at any given time, especially Libyan desert glass. Libyan desert glass is impossible to get, and it's very dangerous to get. You have to trek like hours and hours and out through the desert, through sand, just to get where this stuff is. And if you break down or something on your way out there, there's nobody that can come rescue you. There aren't any gas stations, so this stuff is very difficult to get. We've got a big, massive museum size, 112 grams. You can see it in the picture at our Etsy shop. It's like the size of my hand, and you can see all these. You can see it's got inclusions of iridium in it as well. And the Egyptians knew this stuff was special, and they don't really know. They classify it as a meteorite or a tectite, but they don't. It's not really technically that. They call it that, but the thing is, they've never found an impact crater. They've done ground penetrating tomography, and they've done LiDAR and all that stuff, and they can't find an impact crater. So it's a mystery how this stuff formed. But there's a Tutankhamun headdress where the Egyptians carved a scarab beetle out of this stuff. And it's amazing because when you look at it, you got to understand this stuff's glass. There's no way to cut with primitive tools they were supposedly using back in those days. There's no way they could have made a perfect scarab beetle like they did without, I mean, no fractures, no cracks in this thing. I mean, it literally looks laser etched. And Libyan desert glass usually goes for $10 to $20 a gram. Usually about $10 a gram for the lower quality stuff, and then on up to $20 for, the more clear stuff. So this piece that we've got, it's really seriously a museum piece, 112 grams. So do the math on that. 112 grams times $10 a gram. I mean, you're, $1,100, right? So we've got this sucker for sale for $600. Again, another piece that would make a great investment in something for the future. I don't think I've spent enough time here letting you know about the gems and minerals and stuff we have and how much of an investment these things can be for you for the future, and stuff to hand down to your kids. I mean, you get one of these pieces from us now that costs $600. By the time, your kid's getting ready to go off to college, you may sell the sucker for 4 or 5 times that, because these things go up every year. And like I said, I don't always alter my prices, so sometimes so there has been occasions where I've probably sold pieces for a lot less than we have, and our prices are already 30 to 40% off of what the dealers charge. And I go to probably 2 or 3 gem and mineral shows a year, and they're very difficult to get into. It's kind of a racket. They want you to join these gem and mineral societies and pay their dues and all this stuff to be able to get a table. And when I go to them, I see why. Because I go to these places looking to see if people have stuff like what I'm selling. I never see it. And I have friends that go to them too. Man, I never see stuff as cool as what you have at the German mineral shows I go to. I'm like, I know, I'm telling you. I don't know how to get that across to people. But eventually that's my goal. I want to be able to set up an actual shop. I want to have an actual shop here in the Dallas area somewhere where I can sell gems and minerals and crystals, and maybe put a studio or something upstairs as well. But it would really help our work, and really help me right now, right around the holidays. I mean, I got to buy gifts and stuff for family too, and I have no money to do that. It would really be a huge help right now if people would go visit our Etsy shop, Let There Be Rocks, and make some purchases. Another way you can find the link to the Etsy shop is you can go to my website, theglobalreality.com, and over there underneath actually not underneath, but right above where you subscribe to our radio archives, which get yourself a membership to that as well while you're at it, if you don't have one. It says Stone and Mineral Sale. And I believe if you click on that, it'll take you to our, not our Etsy page, but our Let There Be Rocks Facebook page, which then has links to it over to the Etsy shop if you're having trouble finding that. Anyway, just wanted to let you know, and it's a great way to support our work, and we need all the help that we can get right now. All right, let's try to take a shot at some of this news. Christian author claims Freemasons made him rob Hoover movie theater. A Christian author who writes about the New World Order and spiritual enlightenment seemingly took a dark turn when he donned a mask and robbed a Hoover movie theater at gunpoint in broad daylight, police said. The robber was captured when a theater manager tackled him, and he was detained by the manager and a nearby Good Samaritan until lawmen arrived. Hoover police today announced a first-degree robbery charge against 33-year-old, that's interesting, isn't it? 33-year-old Britton Clayton Traylor, who drove to the theater in his Porsche 911 Carrera and claimed he committed the brazen crime as part of his initiation to earn a higher degree as Freemason. Now, wait a second here. So this guy is supposedly a Christian. He supposedly writes about the New World Order in spiritual enlightenment. I've never heard of the guy. I mean, you'd think somebody like that would at least have been on my radar at some point. Never heard of the guy. He drives a Porsche 911 Carrera? I'm not a big car guy, so I don't know. Don't those run? I mean, isn't that a pretty fucking expensive car? Those are like $250,000 or something. Why would anybody that drives a Porsche 911 Carrera need to go rob a movie theater? And not like movie theaters have really a bunch of money at any one time anyway. But that's the first I've heard of that. I mean, I don't think, as far as I know, as far as I know, that's not something that the Freemasons ever do. I mean, the Freemasons get blamed for a lot of things, and I think that they get blamed for more than they're responsible for a lot of times. And then in other times, it's very strange. And then other times they don't get enough blame for things that they're responsible for. But I've read a lot of, I'm probably a higher authority on Freemasonry and what it entails than a lot of people. I mean, I've been told by multiple Freemasons that I know more about the craft and know more about Freemasonry than guys who are in it. Because I've studied it for 15, 16 years. And I'll tell you this, I've never heard of there being any degree where someone says, go out and commit a crime and this is your, that's not how it works. So, it just seems odd to me, really. I mean, who in the, that's a kind of high profile fucking vehicle to go commit a robbery, and everything about this seems strange and odd. I mean, the fact the guy's 33 years old. Who drives a Porsche 911 Carrera to a fucking robbery? Number one. And number two, who robs a fucking movie theater? And I know where Hoover is. It's in Alabama. It's right. It's like a suburb of Birmingham. In fact, I went through there back in 2012 when I was filming for Lost Secrets of Ancient America Volume 1, so I know where it's at. And it's, it's not a very big town. But you notice he didn't go try to rob a bank or a cash truck or anything like that. A movie theater. And I think this is hilarious because even the cops said, quote, "We're not really buying that as we've never heard of Masons instructing members to commit criminal acts." Sounds like to me, I mean, if I had to come up with my own theory on this, to me it just sounds like this guy was doing this to either defame the Masons or make them, try and make it look like this is something they would do, or, possibly to try and get publicity for himself and his books. I mean, that's really what it sounds like. Maybe that's what I need to do. I mean, because this guy's name and his face and his books are out there now. People are probably going to be buying his shit. It's one of the most ridiculous excuses that we've heard lately. He may have achieved a higher level of stupidity, but that's about it. On Monday, lawmen responded to an armed robbery at the Carmike Lee Branch Theaters on Doug Baker Boulevard. Rector said Hoover officers and Shelby County Sheriff's deputies arrived at the theater to find the manager and another man on top of trailer holding him on the ground in front of the theater. The assistant manager told police the man entered the theater wearing a lifelike mask and brandishing a handgun. He demanded cash, escorted the employee to the office, and ordered him to open the safe. He took a large sum of money, put it into a backpack. Well, maybe he needed some money to make the payments on that Carrera. Maybe that's what it was. And left through the building's front door. Determined not to let him get away, the assistant manager followed trailer, tackling and disarming him. At that point, Rector said the victim realized the gun was a BB gun. Dude didn't even take a real gun. What? So that's how he skirted the probably the aggravated charge or something like that. He also ripped the mask from Trailer's face. Another man leaving a nearby gym saw what was happening and ran over to help. They both held trailer until officers arrived. The Shelby County District Attorney's Office issued a first-degree robbery warrant against Traylor. His bond is set at $60,000. He's being held in the Hoover City Jail pending transfer to the Shelby County Jail. Traylor in 2012 published a book called Shining the Light, Exposing the Truth. He also writes blogs and describes his work this way. Quote, shining the light on the important Christian news of our day. Make sure to read my New York Times bestseller, Shining the Light, Exposing the Truth. Really? Really? Is this book really a New York Times bestseller? Really? Because I've never heard of it. It has been prophesied over and over in the Bible. They will masquerade through this world as beacons of enlightenment, promising freedom and self-fulfillment to all who would listen to their message. Some are willing messengers of their master's will, while others are unwitting victims themselves, fooled into believing that peace and prosperity can only come by uniting the world under one government. Traylor has written this about his book. You've heard the propaganda at every level, from the brainwashing of our children to the most popular entertainers of our time. Even our presidents have been known to serve the goals of the New World Order. Unfortunately, the best among us can be deceived if we don't take a closer look. In this book, you will learn more about the Luciferian agenda. Those are, I love how they always confuse that Lucifer and Satan shit. People always try to make it seem as if those are the two same things. If you actually done the research, they're not the same thing. Lucifer and Satan are not the same thing. The guy in the red PJs sticking the pitchfork up your ass is not the same thing as Lucifer, not even remotely. But through brainwashing and the constant manipulation through the media and culture and reinforcement, that's constantly confused. According to his biography, Traylor studied political science at the University of Alabama and minored in history. After leaving school, he has pursued several entrepreneurial ventures, especially e-commerce websites. This has given him the time and freedom to pursue his true passion for writing. Court records show Traylor was arrested last year by Leeds police on multiple theft charges from a Walmart. This guy sounds like a total fraud to me. I mean, he's driving around in a Porsche 911 Carrera, stealing from Walmarts and robbing movie theaters and blaming it on Freemasons? Dude. Oh, man. So this is the kind of shit I'm up against. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that gives researchers and people like me a bad name. Idiots like this guy. Jesus Christ. And he looks like a fucking tool, too, with his fucking hipster beard. He just looks like somebody that needs his ass kicked. You know those type of people? You ever see somebody like that? You just look at him and you're like, that dude just needs an ass whooping. You can just tell by looking at him. Just needs an ass whooping. Tom Hanks has appeared in many acting roles over the years, playing young and old, smart and simple, yet we always recognize him as Tom Hanks. Why? Is it his appearance, his mannerisms, the way he moves? University of Washington researchers have demonstrated that it's possible for machine learning algorithms to capture the persona and create a digital model of a well-photographed person like Tom Hanks from the vast number of images of them available on the internet. With enough visual data to mine, the algorithms can also animate the digital model of Tom Hanks to deliver speeches that the real actor never performed. The technology relies on advances in 3D face reconstruction, tracking alignment, multi-texture modeling, and puppeteering that have been developed over the last 5 years. Right, they first started using that in the Tron sequel they came out with, the Tron Legacy, which came out in 2010, where they took images of why am I drawing a blank? The dude, Lebowski, Jeff Bridges, and created, these younger looking versions of him that look realistic. It looks like he's standing there in the flesh, young. But what's troubling about this is that, and again, this is old technology. The only reason they're talking about it now is because it's become cheaper and publicly available. But I mean, this is the kind of thing where they are now going to have the ability to be able to make it look like somebody's on TV saying something. I mean, have some leader. They can make some leader of some country say, "Oh, we're going to nuke America tomorrow" or something, and get everybody up in arms about it. Meanwhile, this guy never said that, but everybody believes it does because it looks exactly like him. So this is really going to be a game changer for media manipulation. And, events like 9/11 and stuff where they're looking for patsies, and total game changer. I mean, they always sell this stuff to us under the guise, oh, it'll make the movies better, and we'll be able to have stars be in movies, after they're dead. But really what this does is it opens up the floodgates for more mass media manipulation. I mean, already we shouldn't trust most of what we see, but this is really going to make us not be able to really trust anything at this point, which is pretty much where we're already at. China clone factory scientist eyes human replication. The Chinese scientist behind the world's biggest cloning factory has technology advanced enough to replicate humans, he told the AFP, and is only holding off for fear of the public reaction. BioLife Group and its partners are building the giant plant in the northern Chinese port of Tianjin, where it's due to go into production within the next 7 months, and aims for an output of 1 million cloned cows a year by 2020. But cattle are only the beginning of Chief Executive Zhu Zhaochun's ambitions. In the factory pipeline also are thoroughbred racehorses as well as pet and police dogs specialized in searching and sniffing. BioLife is already working with its South Korean partner Suam and the Chinese Academy of Sciences to improve primate cloning capacity to create better test animals for disease research. And it is a short biological step from monkeys to humans, potentially raising a host of moral and ethical controversies. The technology is already there. If this is allowed, I don't think there are other companies better than BioLife that make better technology. Well, let's just wait a second. Let's just get this out of the way now. This cloning itself and replicating has been around for years. That's not anything new. It's been around for decades. It's old technology. In fact, there's said to be George Bush was said to have multiple clones of him, and if you look at some of the video footage during his presidency, you can pick them out. You can see there's plenty of them. Or 1 week you'll see one. I mean, and plus the whole Paul McCartney thing, the fall McCartney thing I've talked about many times, with the fake Paul McCartney. I mean, you can see there's a picture you can see of him on a boat, and there's three of them sitting there. They're all three Paul McCartneys, and they're just sitting there. Obama's said to have multiple clones. This is something that's been going on for a long time. I think Kim Jong-il was said to have several clones as well. But again, just like the last article, the reason you're starting to hear about this now and the reason it's becoming a big deal is because it's gone from the confines of secret science and something that's very expensive to now being, it's nothing for them to do it. I mean, we've cracked the gene code so long ago, but now cloning and replicating and the rest of that stuff, it's really not advanced science at this point. It's just something that's not, the general public is not willing to accept. So it's kept in secret, and now they're just trying to slowly use it. But China's been doing this stuff for forever. Last week, or a couple weeks ago, I started hearing about, and I told you I'm not going to get up here and talk about the presidential candidates and get into the elections and all that stuff. But a while back I'd mentioned, I just had wondered who Donald Trump was, who he's working for, who's really, because all these guys are always usually, like Obama was CIA controlled, and of course Bush with his Poppy Bush daddy being former director of the CIA and all this stuff. But it really kind of became clear to me a few weeks ago when Donald Trump started talking about the seeing Muslims in New Jersey celebrating on rooftops after 9/11. And immediately I said, well, this is total horseshit. There were never any reports of Muslims doing that. It was Israelis, dancing Israelis. So that made me think, oh, well, okay. Well, now it's kind of clear to see who's pulling the strings on this guy. Should have known. As usual, he seems to be a minion of the phony state of Israel. And then the very next day, lo and behold, he appears on the Alex Jones show. And that pretty much sealed the deal on that. And I couldn't even believe it. Jones was even backing him up, saying that, yes, there were, in fact, Muslims celebrating. Donald Trump was right all along. This is from InfoWars. Muslims were seen celebrating the 9/11 attacks in Jersey City and beyond. And even more disturbing than that, some of them knew ahead of time that the Twin Towers were going to be attacked, according to statements made by reporters by the FBI in the days after the planes hit. A news report has emerged that corroborates the claims alluded to by Trump over the past few days. The report, which is a WCBS newscast broadcast 6 days after the attacks, details how FBI investigators revealed that some Muslim suspects living in an apartment building in Jersey City held a pre-planned rooftop party on the day of the attacks. The task force investigators even stated that suspects had a detailed model of the World Trade Center, the type architects use, on the rooftop, along with them for binoculars. So here's Jones backing up Donald Trump and trying to make the claim that, yes, it was real that there were Muslims celebrating. Now, wait a second, Jones. I thought you believed that 19 Arab hijackers and Muslims didn't do 9/11. That it was, aren't you Mr. Inside Job himself? Again, just another indicator of the fact that you can't believe a goddamn thing that comes out of Alex Jones's mouth. So now it wasn't the government or it wasn't whoever that did 9/11. Now it was Muslims, and now you're going with that story. And yes, it's true. This is total bullshit. We know about the dancing Israelis. That's what he's talking about. But because of that, they're not mentioning the dancing Israelis at all. They're mentioning them as being Muslims. So again, if you had any doubts or if you were thinking maybe about supporting Trump, I would not think about that. He is as bad as any other candidate or anybody else. He's as controlled as any of the rest of them. The fact that Alex Jones is getting behind him, it pretty much shows you right there who's backing this guy. And he's probably going to win. Huge geometric shapes in the Middle East may be prehistoric. They are prehistoric. I covered these and was looking at these in the early days of even Google Earth and stuff. When nobody was talking about this, I was talking about these back in like 2008 on this show. Spending hours and hours looking at them on Google Earth. But yeah, they're massive geodesic geometric wheels in the middle of nowhere desert in the Middle East. And they're fascinating to look at. There's all kinds of anomalous stuff you can see even looking at these things. Thousands of stone structures that form geometric patterns of the Middle East are coming into clearer view, with archaeologists finding two wheel-shaped patterns dating back some 8,500 years that makes these wheels older than the famous geoglyphs in Peru called the Nazca Lines. And some of these giant designs located in Jordan's Azaraq Oasis seem to have an astronomical significance. Built to align with the sunrise on the winter solstice. Bam! There it is. There it is. Right in line with the rest of my work, right in line with the mounds. They're aligned to the sunrise and the winter solstice. Again, another thing the flat earthers won't touch. They can't explain how the solstices and the equinox and all that stuff happens if the earth is indeed flat, because you couldn't get it to happen that way if it was flat. You wouldn't have the alignments that we have with these That's what debunks it more than anything else is, and one of the reasons why I know it's absolutely not true is because of how much time I've spent out at these ancient sites in these mounds all across the United States and seeing the way the alignments happen and know that these alignments couldn't happen on the model of a flat earth the way these clowns are selling it. So, it doesn't even have to even have an extensive debunking. If you go out to some of these sites and stuff yourself, you can see this. These are just some of the findings of new research on these Middle Eastern lines, which were first encountered by pilots during World War I. RAF Flight Lieutenant Percy Madeline published an account of them in 1927 in the journal Antiquity, reporting that the Bedouin called the structures the works of the old men, a name still sometimes used by modern-day researchers. The works of the old men include wheels, which often have spokes radiating out from the center, kites. Yeah, some of them do look like kites. Stone structures used for funneling and killing animals. Pendants, lines of stone cairns, and meandering walls, which are mysterious structures that meander across the landscape for up to several hundred feet. They occur throughout the entire Arabia region, from Syria across Jordan and Saudi Arabia to Yemen. The most startling thing about the works is that they are difficult to identify from the ground. This stands in contrast to their apparent visibility from the air. Again, they were meant to be seen by people flying around in the air, not from people being on the ground. I guess you guys heard about Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots, huh? Boy, took that guy long enough to die, didn't it? I thought for sure that dude was going to be dead back when I was my teenage years. Jeez. Yeah, I was a big Stone Temple Pilots fan when I was a teenager. When I was in high school. I remember getting their first album when it came out. 92, 93, somewhere in there. I remember sitting in the gym in high school listening to it on my headphones, cassette. Jamming, rocking out, man, having my mind. But I loved that first album. Core, that was a great record. I thought they were like the second coming of Zeppelin the first time I heard them. It blew my mind. I saw them live when I was 16. I saw them with the Flaming Lips and the Butthole Surfers. That was a hell of a show. But it's crazy when I heard that he died, because I had a news story up on my open tabs that I was going to cover here on the show. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody else point this out. I just thought it was kind of strange. And I figured, since the media is so ready to blame anything and everything on Muslim extremists and ISIS and everything else right now, I thought for sure somebody else would have picked this up. So I don't think anybody else has. So let me start the conspiracy theory here first. Scott Weiland says, "Fuck ISIS." I kid you not. This article came out the day before he died. So I'm going to officially start the conspiracy theory that no, it wasn't crack or heroin or anything. It was actually ISIS that killed Scott Weiland. I'm starting that conspiracy theory. But seriously though, you can't make this kind of stuff up. It does seem a little odd. I mean, I don't really believe that, but it is a little strange. The day before he dies, here's this article that comes out where he says, "Fuck ISIS, and if they come after me, I'll fucking pull out my Glock 17. Dun dun dun, the plot thickens. ISIS killed Scott Weiland and made it look like a drug overdose. You never know. And another indicator, back when I was talking about earlier about Trump, all of a sudden you're starting to see all these Council for National Policy types and CMP types, like I exposed in the Secret Right films I made. All of a sudden they're all coming out and supporting him. Pat Buchanan. Why liberal media hate Trump. His contempt of the norms of political correction is daily on display. And of course, Pat Buchanan's a Council for National Policy member, Jesuit trained, Alex Jones worked on the Pat Buchanan presidential campaign. Alex Jones was a staffer on that campaign. I mean, so it's pretty clear, even though it was kind of cloudy at first as to who was backing him, it's pretty clear now. In 2015, tech billionaires pursued anti-aging and cheating death like never before. 2015, the year we decided to live forever. Silicon Valley came up with a lot of things this year, like creating an on-demand pot to front door service. Now, they've had that forever. Are you kidding me? You think Silicon Valley invented pot delivery services? Psh, they've had that forever. And devising a sparkly way of destroying enemies by shipping them glitter. But one thing it's still working on is figuring out how humans can live forever. Research into surpassing life expectancy norms has become the pet project of tech billionaires, with entrepreneurs from Mark Zuckerberg to Sergey Brin writing out million-dollar checks to fund their quest. The list of entrepreneurs jumping on the death-defying bandwagon has grown rapidly over the past few years, creating a veritable who's who of generous donors. Notorious within the ranks are Peter Thiel, PayPal's co-founder and developer of Breakout Labs, a funding body for radical research into early-stage science geared toward tackling degenerative diseases. Oracle CEO Larry Ellison, who has donated some $430 million to anti-aging pursuits, and Paul Glenn, a venture capitalist who doles out grants to lab researchers at the likes of Harvard and MIT to investigate the mechanisms of biological aging. The pursuit of stopping the clock on corporeal degeneration has become increasingly aggressive in those intervening years, with 2015 proving to be the most dogged yet. The 2045 initiative, Dmitry Itzkov's life extension organization seeking to transfer personalities onto non-biological items and ultimately immortality, projected that this year could be the first in which such a system was created. The brain-computer interface has been slated for a launch anytime between now and 2020, dispelling naysayers' qualms that such technologies only have a chance of existing in the very distant future. And there's certainly no shortage of money to keep powering this research. Google co-founder Larry Page has diverted $750 million of the company's funds to Calico, its life extension center. Pierre Almidar, half of the brains behind eBay, has given millions to investing in disease recovery. Entrepreneur Peter Diamandis and Craig Venner set up Human Longevity Incorporated in a bid to find means of elongating the human lifespan. And of course, these guys are the front men who are doing this with their money, and meanwhile, the big power players are just as much interested in this as they are. But if you want to know a lot about this, I mean, it absolutely is true, and it's something they've been working on for a lot amount of times. And former national security advisor, one of the top, most powerful people in the world, and somebody who's been claimed to be not human, Zbigniew Brzezinski. He wrote a book in 1969 called Between Two Ages, The Rise of the Technotronic Era. And boy, that's an eye-opening book. I mean, he describes there being a presidential candidate in the future that would help them achieve their goals, and it pretty much sounds word for word like he's describing Barack Obama. He talks about how in the future people won't work jobs and try to climb the corporate ladder in order to attain, possessions and status and things. They'll do those things in order to be able to afford life extension technologies, and that will create what he termed technological feudalism, which is exactly what these big billionaires are doing here. If you've got the money and you've got plenty of money, you'll be able to afford the life extension stuff. And if you don't, you'll have the short lifespan like everybody else. And that's pretty much already here, but that book really explains it in detail. Let's see what else we got here. I remember telling, because I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just somebody who reads a shitload of articles and a shitload of research papers, and I stay on top of these people. And I remember back around 2009, maybe, I was saying that, look, this singularity stuff, merging machines, it's going to be here by 2015. That's when you're really going to see it break out. And I didn't have a crystal ball, and that's what a lot of these guys were saying, these singularity guys. And I remember there was one particular host, I'm not going to name his name because he's irrelevant at this point anyway. But there was one particular radio host I used to do shows with and stuff on a network. And I remember him, arguing with me, oh, no, it's not going to be here by then. And I think you're reading, or they're saying 2035. I'm saying, no. 2015 is going to be the year in when you're going to start to see this stuff break out. And lo and behold, article out today just confirmed exactly what I'd known for years. And this is from Bloomberg Business. Why 2015 was a breakthrough year in artificial intelligence. Computers are starting to open their eyes. And I only really derived that from seeing how quickly the technology was exponentiating at that time. It's insane. I mean, when I made my first film, 9/11 New World Rising in 2007, HD was not even available yet. There was the computers weren't even fast enough to even handle HD video yet. The video cards weren't there for that. The software wasn't there for that yet. And, just in the 8 years since I made my first film, now, we got 4K video and 8K video, and it's exponentiated at a speed quicker than the top technology experts have predicted. And that's the crystal ball. That's how this stuff is happening sooner than later. After a half decade of quiet breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, 2015 has been a landmark year. Computers are smarter and learning faster than ever. The pace of advancement in AI is actually speeding up, said Jeff Dean, a senior fellow at Google. To celebrate their achievements and plot the year ahead, Dean and many of the other top minds in AI are convening in Montreal this week at the Neural Information Processing Systems Conference. It started in 1987, has become a must-attend event for many Silicon Valley companies in the last few years, thanks to the explosion in AI. NIPS was where Facebook Chief Executive Officer Mark Zuckerberg chose in 2013 to announce the company's plans to form an AI laboratory, and where a startup named DeepMind showed off an AI that could learn to play computer games before it was acquired by Google. There should be plenty to discuss this week. The unprecedented advancements in AI research this year can be attributed to a confluence of nerdy factors. For one, cloud computing infrastructure is vastly more powerful and affordable, with the ability to process complex information. There are also more plentiful data sets for free or inexpensive software development tools for researchers to work with. Thanks to this, a crucial class of learning technology known as neural networks have gone from being prohibitively expensive to relatively cheap. And again, that's because a lot of this technology has been around for a long time. It's just now starting to make its way to the general public. It's starting to make its way into the hands of developers. So that's why it's exponentiating a lot quicker. Not because this technology is just now coming out, but because it's now becoming available to the public at, again, prices and costs that aren't prohibitive. Another thing I've been telling you about for many, many years that's coming very soon and is more of a reality and not science fiction anymore, and that is mining for minerals in space. About 10 years or so ago, there was a international treaty that was signed that declared that anything brought back to space, like any oil or any kind of resources, would not be able to be taxed by any government. That's what they want to do. They want to go to, some of these moons of Jupiter, and they want to start mining this stuff and bring it back to Earth. And, you would think, that's a good thing. If they can go back and go out into space and get tons of this stuff, it'll make it cheaper for us. No, it's just going to make their power supremacy that much stronger. Flashing some interplanetary gold bling and sipping space water might sound far-fetched, but both could soon be a reality thanks to a new U.S. law that legalizes cosmic mining. First, President Barack Obama signed legislation at the end of November that allows commercial extraction of minerals and other materials, including water, from asteroids and the moon. That could kick off an extraterrestrial gold rush backed by a private aeronautics industry that is quickly growing and cutting the price of commercial spaceflight. The U.S. Commercial Space Launch Competitiveness Act of 2015 says that any materials American individuals or companies find on an asteroid or the moon is theirs to keep and do with as they please. While the Space Act breaks with the concept that space should be shared by everyone on Earth for scientific research and exploration, it establishes the rights of investors to profit from their efforts, at least under U.S. law. Yeah, so whoever has the most money to be able to send stuff out there to mine this stuff will be able to do with whatever they want to do with it. I mean, it's a racket. These people want to own space just like they think they own the Earth, and nobody can own either. So this is going to be a huge game changer, and one that is likely to shift the geopolitical power structure around quite a bit, because countries like China having strangleholds on rare earth metals and the rest of it will definitely be challenged by this. All right. Well, that's all I got. I got to get back to work on this film. Again, folks, as I stated at the beginning of the show, we just need all your support right now. So please give us a hand ASAP and help us be able to get this work done. TheGlobalReality.com is my website. My name's Josh Reeves. I love each and every one of you. We'll see you next time. Have a great one. Take care.